Hello guys, welcome back to Empower Tutorials. This is your master teacher Dr. Sonam. So yes guys, how's everyone doing? We are back on this amazing platform that we have where we share information with each other, talk to each other, know about more things in our uh, famous, nice, liked, unliked, all kind of subjects. So yes, let's go ahead now. We are here to discuss biology and we will be starting today with plant physiology. Okay, so plant physiology, we will be starting with absorption of roots. Correct. So now we are going to talk about all the different processes that are involved in the process of absorption of roots, right? That is when these roots are going to be taking up all the water, minerals, nutrients, all the salts or the solutes that the plant or say the body of the plant or the tree it requires for its growth. Okay, so we are going to study about all these processes. Going forward, like we always start with a quote, teachers can open the door, but you must enter it yourself, right? So now teachers are definitely going to open doors for you, right? We as teachers are here to teach you all, to guide you all, to make you learn new things. But whether you actually wish to apply that in your day-to-day life, whether you decide to take up those manners, decide to take up that kind of schedule, or those kind of nice things, completely depends on yourself, right? Now I mean, we can, it's like, just for example, you can say we can get the food to you, but putting it in your mouth and feeding yourself is your job, right? So yes, we are definitely here, right here with you all to guide you in everything that you need us for, but you have to take the step yourself. Okay, kids, let's go ahead now with the next topic. So we need to know a very basic thing about what is root system and what is shoot system. Okay, root system is going to be anything that is found below the soil, and shoot system is all the parts that are being found above the soil. Okay, are we clear with this? So now obviously below the soil we have only one part of the tree, that is the roots itself, and in the shoot system we have all the other parts of the tree or the plant, say leaves, stem, then fruits, flowers, seeds, buds. So all these things are a part of the shoot system as these parts lie above the soil. So that is root and shoot system. Now, what are the functions of these roots? We talk so much about the roots. So while you actually visualize physically, तो हमको इतना ही दिखता है कि ठीक है, tree खड़ा है roots के basis पे. But what other than that? So like, yes, which is very common, it anchors the plant in the ground, which means it is holding the plant in the ground, right? Now, roots, you can say, are like pillars for the tree, okay? Like we have pillars for a building. You don't have a good, nice, strong pillar, the building won't stand, right? So roots play the role of anchorage. Now, if the roots are not stable, not nice, the tree will not stand. So they play the role of anchorage. Then they take in the water and minerals. Of course, roots are playing definitely a very important role in the uptake of water and minerals. Now, this role of the roots of uptaking the water and minerals is further divided into two parts, that is via the xylem and via the phloem. Now, we have studied about the xylem and phloem in our older classes, right? So, xylem and phloem are two parts of the root which help in this process of taking the solutes or food particles or the minerals or nutrients, firstly from the soil to the roots, then from the roots to the stem, and then ahead to all the different parts of the tree. Okay, are we clear with this, guys? Yes. And the last but not the least is to store food. Okay, so we've seen about anchorage, we've seen about transportation of all the water and minerals, and the last one is the storage of food. Okay. So these are three basic important functions of roots that you need to elaborate and put it down in 5 points like this. Okay, now what is the need for these food and minerals? Why is the plant needing these food and minerals? So now there are certain processes that are taking place in the plant because of which the plant is needing all these things. Okay, photosynthesis. Now as you see this GIF over here, you see that continuous process that is happening in photosynthesis, uptake of gases, then the plants or say the trees, they take up the carbon dioxide from the environment that we are exhaling. They use that carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis, and in turn they give us oxygen and glucose. Glucose, of course, like in the form of energy. Okay, so now photosynthesis is a very important process that happens in the day-to-day life. So water is needed for this process. So similarly, water, all nutrients, all these things are going to be needed for various such processes. Now, next thing is transpiration. Now, what is transpiration? So let me tell you, transpiration is a process in which water is getting evaporated from the trees or the parts of the plant in the form of vapor. Okay, we will be studying about transpiration in the next chapters ahead in detail. Okay, so for now, just remember transpiration is the loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant, but it is in the form of vapor. Okay, so these are two important processes. Going ahead, we have transportation. Now, transportation is again nothing what we have seen in the functions of the root, that is the carrying of all the salt, minerals, nutrients from the soil to furthermore to all the parts of the plant. So that is transportation. Then there is mechanical stiffness. Mechanical stiffness is nothing but something known as turgidity or flaccidity. Now, these terms we will be studying ahead in detail, okay? Probably in the next session of this plant physiology chapter, okay? So now roots are playing this major role, right? Roots are playing the major role of absorbing this water. So roots में कुछ ऐसे modifications किए जाते हैं जिसकी वजह से this absorption becomes a lot more easier and a lot more in a huge quantity. Like roots can absorb more water, give more nutrients, take up more solutes and minerals from the soil because of these certain modifications. So now there are these three modifications that we are going to see. First thing is the root hair. Okay, this tiny thread-like structure is going to be the root hair. Now see, this is a very modified, magnified structure. This is going to be the root hair. Second thing is the vacuole. Okay, now vacuole is also going to be modified in a certain way so that the roots ज़्यादा minerals and water absorb कर सके. And the third thing is going to be the cell wall. Okay, these are three things that we are going to study about. अब इनमें modifications क्या होते हैं? Let's see. Okay, so now first modification as we said is the root hair. ठीक है, ये root hair है. There are n number of root hairs. See, I mean, ऐसा magnified image में आपको एक एक दिख रहा है. Now, if you see this image also here, you will see n number of root hairs, right? How they are coming out from the surface. Now, this is a magnified image of one root hair. Now, look at this GIF here. Just give me a minute. See, these are all the root hairs. Okay, and now see how water is how the passage is taking place. See, this part is the root hair. Okay, इसके अंदर passage हो रहा है. These are the root hairs. ठीक है ना, मैग्निफिकेशन में ये रूट हेयर्स है और इसके अंदर ये जो प्रोसेस चल रहा है, दिस मूवमेंट दैट यू कैन सी इज नथिंग बट द मूवमेंट ऑफ ऑल दिस वाटर एंड न्यूट्रिएंट्स दैट इज टेकिंग प्लेस. Okay, so that is about the root hair. Now coming ahead to the second thing, that is the vacuole. Now vacuole is large. Okay, roots, these modifications or these adaptations that the roots take up is for facilitating more transfer and easy transfer or transportation of water and minerals. So now it has a large vacuole. Because it has a large vacuole, of course, there's more space, so they can absorb more. Okay, and the third thing is the thin permeable cell wall. Now the modification that is made to the cell wall is that it has a very thin lining. Okay, and it is permeable. That means it can allow substances inside it. Permeable means that. So the cell wall is made thin and permeable so that ज़्यादा absorption हो सके water and nutrients का. Okay, now ये जो absorption हो रहा है सारा, ठीक है, तो इसमें there are certain phenomena that are going to help us understand these processes much more in detail. Okay, so the first one is imbibition. Now what is imbibition? Now see, you see this picture here. Now what is the difference that you notice between these two elements? This looks small and this looks big, right? So this small one is a regular dried almond. Now, when you put this almond into water and leave it for a few hours or say overnight, and next morning when you check it, it will be swollen up like this. It will look big in size because it is swollen up. Now, what has happened? Nothing but this almond has taken up water and it has swollen. Okay? Now, for example, I'll give you an example which happens in the day-to-day life. You must have seen that or observed it. Doors. Right, हमारे घर के जो दरवाजे होते हैं, you must observe them in the rainy season. What happens is you find some difficulty in opening and closing the doors. Why that happens is बिकॉज ऊपर का जो सरफेस रहता है डोर्स का, ऊपर का जो वुडन लेयर रहता है वो स्वेल हो जाता है. Okay, because in the rainy season water is continuously seeping through the walls, right? So these doors, this wood takes up that water, and because it takes up that water, it swells. Doors आपने देखे होंगे थोड़े से फूक जाते हैं in the rainy season, right? So because of because they swell up, so उनका opening and closing becomes a little difficult. So now that is another example of day-to-day life where water is getting absorbed. Okay, so that is nothing but imbibition. So let's see the definition. It is a phenomena by which living or dead cell plants absorb water by surface attraction. Right? Like I told you, all surface जो रहता है कोई भी चीज का living or dead, it is going to absorb water. ठीक है? So that is imbibition. Now remember these two examples in mind, एक element वाला and एक doors वाला. Whenever asked for exam, you can talk about these two examples. Okay. Now going ahead, what is diffusion? Diffusion is the free movement of water molecules from high concentration to low concentration during direct contact. Okay, now see, here also there are water molecules, here also there are water molecules. So इनका movement जो होता है, that takes place from where they are present more, from there to where they are present less. ठीक है? In short, remember it like this. Now I'll give you an example. Say you have taken a bowl or a cup or a beaker of water and उसमें आप ink के drops डालो. Okay, like we see in this diagram over here. So what happens? What do you notice? Slowly, immediately ink डालने से पूरा blue हो जाता है क्या? नहीं. Slowly the ink will get dissolved. Slowly the water starts absorbing that. Slowly वो blue होने लगता है, right? So what is happening in that process is movement of water is taking place from the high concentration to the low concentration during direct contact of water and ink. ठीक है? वो पूरा mix up हो जाता है, right? There is complete diffusion that happens. Then we cannot see two solutions, right? We see only one solution. So that is diffusion. Okay, remember this ink wala example for diffusion. Now, what is osmosis? Now, children, this is a very important thing. Osmosis is a very important phenomena. So please keep this in mind. Now, this is slightly similar to diffusion, but there is one characteristic feature that is in osmosis, which you need to always remember, even while writing down the answer, the definition, or, keeping in mind about its examples. Okay. So first thing is, let's see the definition. Osmosis is the movement of water molecules from high concentration to low concentration via a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so children, remember this. The difference between diffusion and osmosis is only that there is free movement in diffusion, whereas in osmosis, ये जो movement होता है water का high concentration से low concentration में, that is selectively reabsorbed. That means एक selective permeable membrane रहता है. Semi-permeable means it is selectively permeable. Okay, मतलब वो सब कुछ एक जगह से दूसरे जगह नहीं आने देता है. It is semi-permeable. It will allow only certain things to pass via that membrane. So that is osmosis. Now see, like you can see in this diagram also over here, ये diffusion है. ये move हो रहा है. High concentration से low concentration में freely move हो रहा है. Whereas in osmosis, if you see, यहाँ पे बीच में you see a membrane. ठीक है? So osmosis में there is always going to be that semi-permeable membrane. This word is really important. Please keep this in mind. Okay? Okay, now let's go ahead, see what else do we have. Okay, now we have something called as active transport. It is the passage of substances from low to high concentration through the living membrane using energy from the cell. Now this is the opposite of diffusion and osmosis. ठीक है? उसमें high concentration to low concentration था. इसमें first thing is low concentration to high concentration. And another important thing that you need to keep in mind for active transport is that it utilizes the energy from the cell. ठीक है? अभी मैं आपको इसका एक example देती हूँ. Suppose you are on a slope. ठीक है? ऊपर से जब आप नीचे आओगे on a cycle, ऊपर से जब नीचे आओगे on the slope when you're going down, you don't need energy, right? वो अपने आप साइकिल जाती है. और even if you are on a two-wheeler, you don't even need to accelerate or do anything. अपने आप the bike goes down, correct? But when it comes to coming उल्टा, ठीक है, नीचे से जब हम ऐसा कोई steep slope चढ़ते हैं, Okay, when we have to climb upwards, okay, तब क्या लगता है? We need to pedal the cycle. We have to use extra energy. We have to use extra efforts, right? तो वो जो extra energy और extra efforts हम लेते हैं, that is the active movement that is happening. So this is just an example that I'm giving you of active transport. This is what happens. Why? Because यहाँ पे जो movement हो रहा है substances का, वो low concentration से high concentration पे हो रहा है. That is why उनको energy लगता है. That is why it is known as active transport. So it is the passage from low to high concentration and it uses up the energy from the cell. Okay, are we clear here? This is what you can see. It is movement from low to high, okay, via this living membrane and at the cost of usage of ATP. Okay, kids, are we clear with these 3-4 basic terminologies? Okay, okay. Now, coming to the next one, something called as turgidity and flaccidity. Now, what is turgidity and what is flaccidity? In short, for today's session, just remember, turgidity means swelling up of the cell, okay, and flaccidity means shrinkage of the cell. ठीक है? Turgidity is basically a phenomena जिसमें water absorb होता है, इसलिए cell swell हो जाता है. Flaccidity में water निकल जाता है, इसलिए cell shrink हो जाता है. ठीक है? So let's see what is written here. Turgid cell, water enters by osmosis, the vacuole swells and pushes against the cell wall. ठीक है, swell हो गया, like I said. And flaccid cell में water from the host cell, the vacuole shrinks and the cell loses its shape. Shrink हो जाता है, तो shape नहीं रहता है कोई चीज का. So turgidity and flaccidity for today's session, just remember, turgidity में swelling होता है, flaccidity में shrinkage होता है. Okay, we will be discussing these terms a lot more in detail in our upcoming sessions. So for today, you can just remember these basics. Okay, kids, are we clear with these few basic terminologies? Okay, so what all things have we seen today? Firstly, we have seen what is the root system and the shoot system. Okay? Then we saw about the functions of the roots, that was anchorage, transportation and storage, right? Then what we saw was what are all the processes which require the water and nutrients. So we saw something like transpiration, photosynthesis, about mechanical stiffness, about transportation. Then we saw certain phenomena that are helping us for this absorption process. Okay, or you can say these are phenomena via which this absorption process is taking place. तो उसमें हमने क्या क्या देखा? Imbibition, diffusion, osmosis, active transport, and we saw about what is turgidity and what is flaccidity. Okay, children, are we clear on these things? If you all still have any doubts, please post them in the comment section and then we can discuss them in the next session. Okay, so kids, yes, activity time. Chalo. I want really good answers from you. I'm going to put up your names along with your answers in the next session of plant physiology. Okay, so what is the question? What you all are going to do now, this is basically a fun activity. Okay, I want all of you to do it. What you will do is, you will take handful of raisins, put them in water. What are raisins? Kishmish. Okay, we call it kishmish. So take that handful, ek muthi bhar lene la, put it in water and leave it overnight. Next morning, you will tell me what do you notice in those raisins. What are the changes that have taken place in the raisin and वो raisins कैसे लगते हैं? वैसे ही है, कुछ उसमें changes आए हैं, have they moved, have they not moved, yeah, whatever. Whatever change you notice, you are firstly going to tell me what change you notice, and secondly, ये जो change उसमें हुआ है, okay, that you will tell me has happened by which process. Okay, now I'm telling you, I'm giving you a hint that process is something that we have studied in today's session. ठीक है, तो ये एक्सपेरिमेंट करोगे तो मे बी वो प्रोसेस आपको और अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. ओके किड्स, यस, आर वी क्लियर विद दिस? प्लीज डू दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट. हैंडफुल ऑफ रेजिन्स पानी में डाल देना, पूरी रात को छोड़ देना. नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग गेट अप एंड सी हाउ दे लुक एंड देन पोस्ट योर आंसर्स इन द कमेंट सेक्शन विद द नेम ऑफ द प्रोसेस. ओके किड्स, चलो, आई थिंक वील रैप अप फॉर टुडे. So yes, do like, subscribe our channel of Power Tutorials. We will be coming up with more videos of all the different topics. And if there is anything certain in specific that you all want us to share with or talk to you all about any specific topic, please come up with suggestions. Okay? Chalo, I'll see you. Bye-bye.